Let's run a quick scenario, okay? I will be the boss, and you will come to me for a raise. Go.
Sir, I was wondering if I could have a raise.
I'm listening.
Well, I've been a top-performing salesman at the company for the last 3 years. I'm the first one in.
Okay, stop. It's done.
Really?
On one condition.
Sure, what's that?
You tell my family I love them. If I give you this pay raise, it'll come out of my paycheck, which means I won't be able to provide for my family the way I want to. And I...
Really? Do I strike you as the type of guy who can be bought with money?
Yes, you do.
Well, you're absolutely right.
Planning on ordering today, sir?
I'll have a Krabby Patty.
How original.
And with extra onions.
Daring today, aren't we?
Hey, Squidward, shut the fuck up. I don't know what your problem is, man. I have 30 minutes for lunch and I'm spending them here, alright? There's no one behind me in line, so what if I took an extra 10 seconds to order? Who cares, man? You really are something else, you know that? You lash out at people, and why? Because you hate your job? Newsflash, asshole, everyone hates their job. I work at the grocery store. I have to deal with bullshit all the time, too. But I don't act like a sarcastic prick with customers. You know, Squidward, this town does not like you, and it's not because you're some kind of misunderstood artist or genius, or we just don't get you. It's because you're mean. Alright? Look at SpongeBob. He works in front of a hot grill all day, but we all like him, and you know why? Because he's nice. He says hello to us. Look, man, I don't want to be this type of customer, you know? I don't like to start fights with folks, but, like, you can't do that, alright? And I'm not going to call out Mr. Krabs or anything. I just want to get my food and go. Please learn from this, alright?
Hey, baby, how you doing? You doing good? No, I'm hanging out with the kids right now. We're having a grand old time. Oh, my God.
Oh my god, did everything work right? Almost. The background music didn't come in. There we go. The background music came in. It did it. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the chat. I hope we are having a good day. If you're not, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. I do not know what to tell you. Let's put that here. Save me from homelessness. Alright, hello, 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 everybody. Let me do the pop-out chat. Didn't I do that already? I did. Holy crap, I did. I'm so smart. Not really, but you know. To see that, I did on that, don't need that. Okay, so we're doing something a little bit different with our reacting today. It isn't a VTuber's fame unless they're technical. Okay, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you are right. I'm not gonna, like, dispute that. Anyway, let's see here. I woke up this morning to a update from justice.gov, a memo from the U.S. Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I have a couple clips here that I'm gonna show to you guys. As soon as I figure out what the hell that clip is. Oh, welcome to Thane. Thank you so much for the membership. Eric Barkman, thank you very much. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do my thing, where I greet everybody, so let's do that. Eric Barkman, the best Remy, Annie the Cat, a Lion Fan, Ferocian Maximus, Death the Goat, Nico Fox, Joy, Desert Nomad, who I think I already said, but you know, Phoenix Fire, Alex, Floria. All right. Yeah, we have an update here, regarding... Is it because of the BBB? What, the Better Business Bureau? I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna click F11. And then we're gonna click this. Here we go. Alright, so here we go. This is from the U.S. Department of Justice Federal Bureau of Investigation. I have a clip to accompany this, thanks to Voidzilla, aka CoffeeZilla. He put together a couple clips that I was trying to hunt down, but because this news had dropped, it was being drowned out, and I couldn't find it using the algorithm. So, I used one of its clips, we're gonna show that in a second. But, as a part of our commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation... Oh, Regal, member for a Jarl for 4 months, thank you. Sorry I can't stay long, I'm stuck working right now. So I'll catch up and watch the stream after work. Just want to stop and say hi, y'all. What's up? Okay, so here we go. As a part of our commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted an exhaustive review of investigative holdings related to Jeffrey Epstein. To ensure that the review was thorough, the FBI conducted digital searches of its databases, hard drives, and network drives, as well as physical searches of squad areas, locked cabinets, desks, closets, and other areas where responsive material may have been stored. These searches uncovered a significant amount of material, including more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence. The files related to the Epstein include a large volume of images of Epstein, images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors, and over 10,000 downloaded videos and images of illegal CSAM and other pornography. Teams of agents, analysts, attorneys, and privacy and civil liberties experts come through the digital and documentary evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible to the public while simultaneously protecting victims. Much of the material is subject to court-ordered sealing. Only a fraction of this material would have been aired publicly had Epstein gone to trial, as the seal served only to protect victims and did not expose any additional third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials and will not permit the release of CP. Oh, well, of course not. This systemic review revealed no incriminating client list. They're trying to say now that there was no client list. You know, the client list that Pam Bondi herself was fucking talking about. What, that she was actually going to... Oh, it's on my desk. I'm reviewing it now along with the JFK and RFK files. Well, MLK files. Sorry, excuse me. So, there was no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate this an investigation against uncharged
Death the
parties.
Goat gives Eva some
thank
head
you so
pats
much,
and
Death
says
the
ear
Goat,
wiggles,
for the head
please.
pats. Alright, here we go, some ear wiggles. Well, have I talk. Let's see here, where are we? We kind of went up a bit, I didn't mean to. Consistent, this is... We did not uncover evidence that Consistent with prior disclosures, this review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. He suffered unique trauma. Okay, so you are trying to say that the man who somehow managed to, by himself, with no fucking collusion or conspiracy or fucking working with other people because there's no fucking client list, right? You're saying he by himself harmed over 1,000 victims. Okay. Each suffered unique trauma. Sets of information to these victims is intertwined throughout the materials. This includes specific data such as victims' names and likeness, physical descriptions, places of birth, associates, and employment history. One of our half priorities is combating child exploitation, bringing justice to the victims. Perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those ends. To that end, while we have labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding Epstein and ensured examination of any evidence in the government's possession, it is the determination of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation that no further disclosure would be appropriate or wanted. After a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell. Okay, so yeah, he also killed himself, guys. Okay, Jesus. Xenos, welcome to the chat. As you through investigating, okay, Charles committed suicide in his cell at the Metropolitan. Jesus, I'm getting angry and it makes it hard for me to read. Sorry. Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10, 2019. This conclusion is consistent with previous findings, including the August 19, 2019 autopsy findings of the New York City office and Chief Medical Examiner, the November 9, 2019 position of U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York in connection with the investigation of federal correctional officers responsible for guarding Epstein, and the June 2023 conclusions of DOJ's Office of the Inspector General. Can I post a good clip? You can join my Discord and you can post it in video suggestions. I can bring it up then. The conclusion that Epstein died by suicide is further supported by video footage from the common area of the special housing units where Epstein was housed at the time of his death. As DOJ's Inspector General explained in 2023, anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the security housing unit common area would have been captured by this footage. The FBI's independent review. Well, we're not denying that the footage captured the people who killed him. We're okay, whatever. Jesus Christ, I'm getting mad. I hate to side with conspiracy dudes a little, but he was murdered. Too many yeah, no, that was, I mean, come on. This was very clear. And then the guards who were supposed to be guarding him were freaking shopping with randomly newly acquired money that wasn't even freaking, yeah, there's so much that says that this was a cover-up, this was a fucking, you know, a conspiracy. Anyway, the FBI ended to know he was just compared to the time Epstein was locked to his cell around 10:40 p.m. until around 6:30 a.m. the next morning. Nobody entered Eden's cell. During this review, the FBI enhanced the relevant footage by increasing its contrast, balancing color, improving its sharpness for greater clarity and viewability. The full raw and enhanced videos are available at the following links. We're not gonna watch that. I'm pretty sure YouTube would have a problem. The Discord server is in the description down below. There's an invite there in my description. You can join there. Anyone remember that hold on. To read this. Anybody remember that Bangino Patel interview where both looked terrified, like they had their family certain unless they said he often saw? Yeah, I do remember that. Leave it to Hollywood to do something that's from a Hollywood movie. Again, this isn't Hollywood. This is the fucking FBI and DOJ that came out and said, yeah, no, Epstein did kill himself and there's no client list. And now we're going to move on here real quick. Hold on, let me do this. Because we have a little bit of a thing to show you guys. Let me bring it up in my should be one of my more recently reporting.
And it's interesting.
Here we go. Okay, it's only a minute long. Okay, let's get rid of the background music. Okay, so here we go. Let me do this. There we go.
And it's interesting in that it's contrary to what a lot of what they've been saying all along, and that's what's kind of the problem here. For the last few months, we've been teased along with these statements about, you know, oh, we've got the client list.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
We've got thousands.
There you go, right there. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States of America, just said the client list is sitting on my desk awaiting review. And I'm sorry, nobody here can say anything about, oh, she didn't mean the client list, she meant the files in general, she meant what they had. No, she's a fucking lawyer. Words are important. She was asked, this is a possibility. This client list could be revealed. What is your statement on that? It's on my desk, waiting review. Motherfucker, you said the client list is on your desk. Now it doesn't exist? Fucking bullshit. I'm sorry, absolute fucking bullshit.
Thousands of videos.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child.
And then, you know, Kash Patel goes on Joe Rogan and says, hey, there ain't no videos. If I had a video of a guy on an island committing a felony, don't you think you know about it?
Again, logical play out. If there was a video
Well, remember,
of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
there you go. I mean, I just, come on. You cannot say, as the Attorney General, jeez, it's just so fucking annoying. I'm sorry. Anyway, that was the reaction that I had to do this morning. That didn't have any like video or anything, but it was just an announcement that basically Trump's DOJ and Trump's FBI, just like Biden's FBI and Biden's DOJ, aren't gonna do shit regarding Epstein. They basically just said, hey, guess what? Nothing happened. Epstein committed suicide. There's no client list. Go fuck yourself. That's what just happened. Anyway, yeah, you know what? We need a cleanser after that. Hold on.
God, he's so handsome. Hey, man.
Here we go. Okay. Oh man. All right. So let's see here. Twitch has a Hasan problem. Here we go. So this is the next video. Twitch has a Hasan problemo. The guy that he doxed wasn't even the right person he doxed. Yeah, okay. Here we go. We're gonna check this out real quick. So this is Fast Facts released 3 days ago by Legal Mindset. By the way, don't forget to, if you haven't already, I know many of you guys have, but subscribe to him, like his content, do all the things. He is blowing up right now. I watched him over the last week go from 260 or 70,000 subscribers to 312 subscribers. He's freaking on a meteoric rise here. So, that being said, let's go ahead and see what kind of, Hasan problem that Twitch has. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up, well, yeah, don't go over it yet. It's probably a good idea. There we go. Okay, here we go. Let's do this.
Twitch has a brand new Hasan problem, and this one could have huge repercussions, both legal and non-legal. We're going to get into that today. Of course, on the Legal Mindset, we teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and I'm bringing you this Fast Facts premiere, a quick and dirty version, while I'm once again on a short vacation in lovely Phuket, Thailand. So another hotel room, another place, but still bringing you the freshest news. So make sure you like this video if you like the Fast Facts versions. So let's get right into it. Twitch has always taken a preferential stance when it comes to enforcing its guidelines, or at least it, when looking at its terms of service, has not always applied those equally to all groups and people. Yeah,
I will say this is part of why there's only like one thing I've only ever streamed on Twitch once. It was to do a watch along with MommaOcco when the other platform was down. We're doing that on Kick now as our backup. But Twitch is just, I mean, I think this is about the fairest and nicest way to put it. They have a bit of a issue when it comes to fair moderation, like equal moderation. Like, that's about as nice as you can put it. I would have much more colored words for Twitch's moderation team, but Andrew's being very nice here.
And one of the people that gets the most criticism for this, and that many folks across the board have said is the really recipient of a lot of the benefit of the terms of service without the burden of punishment, has been one Hasan Piker. Now, today, there was an absolutely extreme...
Hold on, we have to do this. I'm sorry. Look, I know. Look, I heard... Look, it's not my fault. But I just heard the word. The two words that will always get this to come out. I promise you. Like, no matter what, without fail, this will happen. Hasan Piker?
You got anyone you want to call out in the heavyweight division?
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that, Hasan Piker! I'm coming to kill you! In Los Angeles, at your house!
In the ring.
No, in real life!
Oh my god! Oh, Jesus. Okay. Sorry. I know. Unserious. Yeah, let's get back to, legal mindset. Here we go.
Incident, which really points out the problem for Twitch in having this unequal enforcement involving Hasan, and how this can have legal consequences. And this is involving him swinging around what appears to be, and that's the very key here, legally and overall, what appears to be a weapon. So let's take a look at the video. And of course, this is video that I found over on X, which highlights this incident. So we'll take this clip here and give some commentary as we go.
I mean, you can send lots of chocolate via my throne.
Mamdani communists. Let's go to war against the left.
So so to give you some background here, it appears there's a chatter in his chat who is made a bunch of comments. Obviously, these are comments that are not fitting with the vibe and the...
Yeah, let's look at these real quick. Let's go to war against the left. Hasan Piker getting beat up soon. Oh, Jesus. Namdarius, it's me that we will fight the left before they elect a communist. Every infidel. Oh my god. Jesus fucking god. Okay, like, I'm pretty sure after, not the first by this Apex crypto guy, right? But the second, I think by the second message, my moderation team would have nuked this guy out of, like, existence. Like, he would not be in the stream after the the first one, he might get a warning, you know, for the all caps, for the, like, let's go to war against the left kind of shit, you know, that's a little inflammatory, that's a little incendiary, and then, but Hasan Piker getting beat up soon, that could be construed as a threat. That's boom, that's instantly bannable. Especially my chat. And again, I don't know why Hasan Piker or his moderation team didn't just nuke this guy out of his stream instead of allowing Hasan to actually get one guide by this dude.
Proud of Hasan's chat. Obviously, for any of this, he would have the ability to block and or ban this person.
Yes,
of course, every single content creator retains the right to ban people out of their chat for whatever reason. Some people are more permissive, some people are more restrictive.
Yeah.
That's really up to the creators on their platform. If they choose to ban people for anything, that's up to them. We wouldn't be here today if this was just a block and ban incident, which, once again, I think there was plenty of grounds for him as a creator saying, hey,
here. You know, I'm not without actually explicitly stating it because I don't know for sure, but if you were to follow this train of logic, the only reason why Apex Crypto here was not banned after the second or third fucking message was because they were expecting Hasan to farm this for content. And Hasan took the bait and he took it too hard and he fucking brought a gun into it. Or what appears to be a gun, rather.
I don't want this person here. And some of this language was even pretty extreme. Saying hang Hasan for treason, yeah, that's pretty extreme. And you know what? Blocking and banning someone for that would be called for. If someone came into my chat or anybody else's chat and said that about that creator, yeah, they would probably catch a ban. They would probably catch a block and a ban, and possibly a report, a broader report. But the response that Hasan gives here is not proportional nor appropriate to these comments. Let's play this.
In our sincerity and actually delivering for the very working people.
Oh, what the fuck?
So
okay, what? Hey. Okay. No, it doesn't matter if it's fake. It absolutely doesn't matter that it's fake. I'm going to contest that it's not fake. Because in the state of California, it's a law. It's like actually a criminal offense if you were to modify an airsoft gun or a BB gun, any kind of pistol, or rifle or anything that shoots BBs or pellets or whatever the fuck. If you modify it to where it looks real, because anything that even comes into California that's an airsoft or paintball gun or whatever, it has unique identifiers marking it as a not real weapon. We're talking about orange tip. We're talking about other markers. Did he follow that off? What the fuck did he do? Oh, I know. Okay, maybe it looks plastic, but there's a lot of guns that are plastic. And maybe it is a fake gun, but again, if it is a fake gun, one, it doesn't matter because of intent, and two, he's now broken another law regarding modified and making to look real a fake gun. You are not allowed to do that in the state of California. It's a violation. It is a criminal offense. It's a misdemeanor, I think.
He's gone and retrieved what appears to be a pistol. Now, many people have pointed out it could be airsoft or it is airsoft or whatever else. The key here is that it appears to be a real weapon. I'll also note as someone who played airsoft for like 8-9 years as a kid, I had MP5s, I had pistols, I had a sniper rifle.
That's the thing. I played the shit out of airsoft, and I'm sorry, that's a very nice looking fucking airsoft. Most airsoft guns are clear, they have orange taps. Even if they are colored, they're colored in a way that makes them obviously toys. This is a fucking black. It looks like a Glock. It looks like a cheap Glock, like an off-brand Glock knockoff, like a little 9mm or some shit.
Even an airsoft sniper rifle. You're supposed to have an orange tip or a marker on the end of an airsoft. That would be not a typical airsoft to lack that marker or remove that orange tip, even though, of course, some people do that. Some people make it more realistic. But the key here, and this is a key that is not just in analyzing this for Twitch terms of service, but also broader for the law, is that you can make a physical threat. You can make a threat or try to intimidate somebody with even a fake weapon, with a fake knife, with a fake gun, with a fake bomb. If you were going to try to hijack a plane and you attempted that with a fake gun, it would not be material in terms of your defense. You would not be able to say, oh, but, well, it was fake, so I couldn't do...
Real awesome to see that, to confirm whether or not it was fake or not, if you saw the pellet feeder on the magazine. But again, it is irrelevant whether or not the gun is real or fake. The intent and the presentation of the gun is very clear.
Do it all along. You know, when you get caught and arrested and thrown in jail, you don't get off because, oh, it was fake. No, you would lead a reasonable person to believe that was real, and a reasonable person could have fear of that knife, gun, bomb, whatever, despite the fact that it's not objectively real. So that's a defense a lot of people brought up, and I don't think that stands up. Let's
it's not a good one.
Compared with what President Trump has been able to do. You know, over the same
what are you, dude? What are you doing?
Has been tell him, the last person who couldn't get my name right, we defeated them, and that's what it's going to look like again.
Okay, fair enough.
Once again, brandishing the weapon, flaring it around. Yeah. Obviously, there's a point to this. Obviously, there's an individual who this is directed at. You know, this is something that's not really ambiguous in the general intention.
As you may...
Oh, you found his account?
Today, I'll show you 3 ways you can use your...
So here's another crazy thing about the doxing. So now you've paired, so you've linked up brandishing a weapon what appears to be a real weapon, whether or not it is, whether it's an airsoft or whether it's fake. You've paired up brandishing a weapon with doxing, which is revealing their private information, which, by the way, in certain jurisdictions, in certain places in the world, is illegal.
There you go. Okay, so we're gonna pause just there for just a second. Okay, so it's nice that he brings that up because we have a little bit of law lookup for my friends here. Gonna look this up real quick. I'm not gonna go over it in verbatim, but I'm gonna show you guys this. Now remember, Hasan is indeed an individual who lives in California. He is beholden and subject to their laws and statutes and regulations and all that. So here we go. Penal Code, California Penal Code 653.2. Here we go, buddy. So, every person who, with intent to place another person in reasonable fear of his or her safety, or the safety of another person's immediate family by means of electronic communication device, and without consent of the other person, and for the purposes of eminently causing that other person unwanted physical contact, injury, or harassment by a third party, electronically distributes, publishes, emails, hyperlinks, or makes available for downloading personal identifying information, aka linking up the chatter with the YouTube channel, while also brandishing the weapon, which you are clearly placing somebody in reasonable fear for his or her safety by doing that. He is still talking doxing a random person, but here's the thing. Even if he doxed the wrong person, the person who was wrongfully doxed and the person who was the target of the doxing but didn't get doxed both could actually sue. And not just press criminal charges, but sue under the statute. Last year, California made it possible for civilians and victims of this particular law to sue their aggressor in civil court. So again, to the two individuals who were falsely doxed, as well as the actual target, you guys should be making a report to your local law enforcement in California, if you live there. And if you don't, it becomes more complicated and stuff, but absolutely you should still at least report the crime. If you live in California, you have a right to actually fucking sue here. So there you go. That is my concern here, and that is my concern for Hasan. He has violated the statute, I believe, and I think that this is going to come back to bite him. Now, it might not come back to bite him in I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months even, but this could end up triggering an investigation sometime this week or next, and it lasts a while, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Piker is having to deal with some fucking, some migraines in the form of a criminal investigation or a criminal charge or whatever. So yeah, this is, yeah, you fucked up. You fucked up is what you did, Hasan. Alright, let's continue back to the video here. By the way, I hope you're liking the transitions. I'm trying to be better about doing those.
So you've done two things which are potentially illegal. There's the brandishing, the threats, the intimidation, and then you've got the doxing, right? So you've got two separate things you're now doing together. So that this is combining to make it even worse.
You fucking muffin, dude.
Wait, this is the guy?
First thing we want to do is download the U2 DPN app, which we can do through the first link in the description.
What are you gonna do, bro?
And of course, I do like the pop-up there just explaining that this is clearly against their TOS. This is something that is not, holistically, both
you're not allowed to
the
do this. So, I
doxing
mean,
and
again,
the threatening is,
in terms
of course, against the Twitch.
In terms of just, if we were just to look at Twitch terms of service violations here, I mean, this clip by itself, with everything included, between the intimidation, the brandishing, showing a weapon on stream, doxing somebody, this guy should be receiving a permanent ban. Absolutely, this should be a permanent, but we know it's not going to be. But, this is, 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 this is But this is going to be a problem for Twitch because part of receiving safe harbor protections, you can't overly moderate, but you can't under moderate either, okay? So if you are like going through and curating every piece of content that goes through before you publish it and stuff, guess what? You're not going to be covered by safe harbor protections. But if you are doing so little that you are allowing what is illegal actions and activity to be conducted on your platform, you also can lose your safe harbor protections because you are not employing reasonable moderation.
Terms of service, right?
Write a petition? Let's do a crusade, he says. Let's do a fucking crusade, he says. Let's hang
Holy, oh my fucking god!
Mamdani for treason, he says. The fuck are you gonna do?
Oh my god.
Go on a fishing expedition? Try to fucking put malware in my phone? Is that what you're gonna do?
What? What?
You skinny bitch.
Oh, thank you for the head
And
now.
to be clear, nothing that Hasan said would be necessarily impermissible. He could say all those things. He could call them, I believe his technical word was a skinny bitch. All he
could say all that. Like, here's the thing. I'm gonna go back because I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna speculate a little bit here, but I'm going to kind of peer into Hasan's state of mind, and I'm gonna walk you through this. Because I think you all saw the body language here and the attempt that Hasan employed to pull up here. He realized he fucked up bad, and he tried to fix it. I'm gonna show you how. So here we go. Also, thank you so much for the 5 and the head
he
pad.
wants.
Okay, so check this out. So here's what he does.
Let's hang Hasan and Mamdani for treason, he says. The fuck are you gonna do?
The fuck are you gonna do? He's brandishing, he's mad. He's talking about specifically the comments that he said that made him angry. He's responding to those with a threat. And then he puts down the gun. Boom. Okay, now the gun's down. He puts it out of frame. He checks and makes sure that it's put out of frame. Now look at this.
Go on a fishing expedition? Try to fucking put malware in my phone? Is that...
What? What the fuck is a fishing ex? Okay, so you gotta go a part. Okay, so now you've gone. Oh, what are you gonna do? Try to hack me? No. While the fucking gun's out of view, like you tried to pull up, you tried to change the subject, and like, oh, this hack is gonna come after. No, dude. You just were in the middle of brandishing a weapon and threatening a fucking individual. You caught yourself mid fucking threat, mid brandish, and you set the gun off a fucking frame and then just went off on the side tangent of, oh, what are you gonna do? A fishing expedition? You gonna hack me? No, that's not what happened. We all know that's not what happened. So yeah, that's a little, in terms of like body language, I'll bring it back one more time so you guys can see. Live, look at this.
A fucking crusade, he says. Let's hang Hasan and Mamdani for treason, he says. The fuck are you gonna do?
Bam, right there. You see, he's looking at his fucking monitor. He puts it down, he sees, and he's checking his monitor, his webcam, to make sure the gun is out of frame. Yeah, he got himself here in exactly. He literally caught himself and realized just how fucking fucked he was.
Go on a fishing expedition? Try to
See,
fucking put malware
now
in
he's
my
calmed
phone?
down.
Is that
Now
what you're gonna do?
he shifted it.
You skinny bitch.
That's what he did there.
And to be clear, nothing that Hasan said would be necessarily impermissible. He could say all those things.
Yep.
He could call them, I believe his technical word was a skinny bitch, all he wants. That would have been perfectly fine. He could yell at this guy the whole night, scream at this guy the whole night. The problem was the weapon combined with the doxing, right? All the other stuff he could do. That's his show. He can run it how he wants. That wouldn't necessarily be against TOS to just yell at the guy the whole night and make fun of the guy. That's fine. Do it your way. Not what we do on my channel. But hey, he can do it on his channel all he wants. But with that, you open yourself up to a bunch of problems. And Twitch is opened up to a bunch of problems because now they've got to decide what they're going to do with Hasan. And in the past, they've only given him slaps on the wrist. That is, they've given him 1 day or 24-hour bans or sometimes 12-hour bans.
Like,
and
Twitch
that's
can't
been all
ignore
they've
this.
done with him. But now we've got
I mean, like Twitch cannot ignore them. Like they're going to try. I know they're going to try, but this is opening the door to so many things. And I'm serious when I say that Twitch. I mean, the Night Circuit, for instance, has removed certain websites' safe harbor protections for a number of reasons, including too much moderation and not enough moderation. And again, I think Twitch is in that red zone of not fairly or reasonably moderating their platform to an expectation that would permit them to receive Section 230 safe harbor protections.
Serious problem, because we've got a situation in which if he is not banned for this, this opens up this behavior for others. So it opens up this behavior, these threats for other people, which can bring on what appears to be real weapons, knives, bombs, and dox people, threaten them. And here's the problem for Twitch. They open themselves up for not just losing advertisers, which is a big non-legal issue, not just looking bad as a brand, because obviously nobody wants to be the platform in which people are openly brandishing weapons and threatening others and doxing them. That's not good for a platform. But you open yourself up to illegal consequences as well. Now, obviously, many people know the breach of contract route. And there are arguments in terms of breaching the contract between the creator.
Oh yeah,
and
because he's a Twitch partner, right? So he's got a contract and everything. You absolutely could go with breach of contract.
Form in terms of banning somebody for one type of behavior, whereas you don't ban somebody for another. So you don't ban Hasan for this, but let's say another creator is banned for this. Well, there might be a cause of action open up there. Now, there's a lot of challenges with that. That's a difficult one. But one that's even more interesting and one that is really untested, and in fact, there may be many people looking to test this, is a consumer type action under a private right of action. Every state has their consumer laws, and those laws are sometimes very, very strong. And one thing they protect against is unfair and deceptive practices. And it indeed is a very strong case to say it is an unfair and deceptive practice to benefit some people while punishing others. Because this bias, for example, Hasan bias, is not disclosed anywhere. It's not given out in the terms of service. When you read the terms of service, nowhere does it say everyone will be punished except for Hasan Piker. Everyone will be banned except for Hasan Piker. Or, for example, if you want to be more broad, everyone will be banned except people who share Hasan Piker's political beliefs or affiliations or associations. If that was disclosed publicly, then fair dues, then you can do what you're trying to do. Of course, advertisers may have an issue with that, but legally it wouldn't be as deceptive. But now you're deceiving the consumer.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, like you have no faith in Twitch going against them. I don't either. But the fact of the matter is it might not be up to Twitch. Like soon because of what could happen from this, it might not be up to Twitch to get rid of Hasan. They might be legally obligated to.
Both the people that are consuming the content, that are expecting that their favorite content creators will not be banned, and then seeing them get banned, and deceiving the creators themselves by lulling them into a belief that they can stream on your platform safely and do what they want, just like Hasan. But then they're ultimately punished. And they're punished for a much longer period of time. They're losing a much larger slice of revenue, memberships, subscriptions, etc., affiliate deals than Hasan. So you're able to point to that and say, I have damages because I am being banned for 7x, 10x, 30x, way longer than Hasan. And I can bring this private cause of action for an unfair and deceptive practice on the part of Twitch. And there's a lot of folks that may be opened up for that. So looking at this, real big problem, and would be even a bigger problem if there was a real incident where somebody got into an altercation where there was a threat made like Hasan, and then somebody responded with force. We saw the case of Sin City Manny in Las Vegas, the streamer that responded.
I would talk with Tectone. I would hop on his show if he wanted me to. I mean, I have gritted my teeth, so to speak, at some of the things he has said, the way he's come at my friend Mizu and stuff like that. But again, I'm used to an adversarial platform. I used to be a lawyer. I've like, trust me, you don't get more adversarial than that, you know, litigating in court. So honestly, like, talking or collabing with Luke Tectone would probably be fun. I would probably piss off some of my, like, my manager or something, but, you know, who cares? Chili Vixen 404, morning Keebler Snow. Okay, how dare you? I'm not a Keebler. How dare.
To taunting and threats of other streamers. People are not beyond responding with violence, particularly in America. That is something in 2025, that's something that could happen. And God forbid that, do happen, would be the absolute end of Twitch as a platform. What do I see them doing? They've got to do something against Hasan. Hopefully they give him a longer term ban, more than just 24 hours. But unfortunately,
they have to.
Twitch has been known to be very light on its favorite golden boy. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the whole situation, and what do you think they're going to do with Hasan, if they're going to do anything, and I'll catch you on the next.
There we go. Perfect. Be your own judge. Look at this guy. Look at this, guys. You have to... Hold on. There we go. You gotta subscribe. Look at him. Look at him and just know. Hold on. Do I have it here? I think I had it here. Here we go. Just know.
God, he's so handsome. Hey, man.
Okay. So we do have more fast facts to move on to, so we're gonna do that here. We do have... Oh, hey, calm down there, video. So we have... Okay, dude, my God, all this autoplay and stuff, Jesus. Alright, so about Hasan's defamation. Now, I saw it when I first saw this, and because I didn't realize it, I didn't see the clips or anything. But when I first saw this, I thought it was about, like, Hasan defaming Tectone, or somebody else. Like this other guy, the defaming, maybe the guy that he threatened. You know, I don't know. But then I found out and saw the clip where Hasan says that, I think the quote was, I'm not going to cover this Rumble lawyer, this fake lawyer. He says that, and again, I'm quoting. But for those who don't know, if you are a lawyer and someone publicly comes out against you, says that you are not a real lawyer, that is technically defamation. That is actionable. So when I saw that clip was sent to me, this made much more sense to me. And I'm like, okay, so this must be about Hasan defaming Andrew. And that is what happened here. So without further ado, we're going to let the old long man take it himself. There we go. Oh, what the? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. There was scuff. There was scuff, guys.
Hasan has slandered me, committed some defamation in response to my reaction to what was going on with Twitch and the situation with Twitch.
So today, like, yes, this is technically defamation. But do you know how many lawyers actually decide to sue somebody for calling them a fake lawyer? And I gotta tell you right now, typically speaking, when it comes to most types of action that people take against lawyers online, whether it be threats, whether it be defamation, whether it be doxing attempts, whether it be anything, our tendency is to ignore it. That's usually the best fucking policy. Now, I imagine the only reason why Andrew here is actually responding is, one, he wants to set the record straight, and two, Hasan Piker is a much fucking bigger creator than normally what punches up at Andrew. I think Hasan has well over 1 million followers, and so it's kind of important for Andrew here to set the record straight and actually point out that, no, I actually am a lawyer. This is where I went to law school. This is where I'm certified, all that. Because after that, when he does that now with public figures, of which Andrew and Hasan both would be considered, you need the elevated standard of malicious intent. You know, you have to prove malice. So the only way to really prove malice is to make sure that there's no way that Hasan doesn't know that what he said is a lie, and he chooses to spread it anyway. So with Andrew actually correcting the record here, he's basically giving Hasan a chance and going, look, from here on out, if you continue to call me a fake lawyer, it is willful and malicious defamation, and absolutely Andrew would be within his rights to take action. At this point though, because I mean, you could make a reasonable argument that Hasan should had a personal responsibility to actually look into somebody before opining or speaking on their legitimacy as a lawyer. You know, you could say that, but again, I think defamation in any case of defamation brought up will be strongest if brought up after this video was made and Hasan was officially corrected.
I'm going to respond to that publicly, clear up some of that misinformation, and also talk about some hot water that Hasan may be in legally in the state of California. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is the legal mindset we teach you to be your own judge.
Well,
so,
we don't actually know that. We don't know if it was Denims or Frogan. We don't know if any was in the orbiters. Now, that's something that might be able to come out or be like come out in discovery. Well, which I am fairly certain those cases are going to go to discovery. But we don't actually know for sure who was involved with calling CPS. Spider Bro, thank you so much for the 5. But Eva, Andrew is trying to entrap Hasan. I mean, that's what he's doing, but he doesn't have... Oh, y'all, was that an argument? If Hasan Diddy Piker was smart, he would stop. Hopefully he doesn't. It'd be so funny. Eva also likes to be correct. I do like correction.
Typically, my policy overall with defamation, with people that engage in defamation, is just to ignore it, is to pass it by, is to really pay it no mind, particularly if they're smaller channels and smaller people, really to ignore that at large. However, when a channel of 1.7 million people spreads false information about yourself, clearly not having watched a single one of my videos or really knowing much about me, it seems
So I'm gonna say I thought Hasan was well over 1 million. I didn't know he was approaching 2 million. But that's the reason why Andrew is making this video, because he has to set the record straight in order to establish that even with the knowledge that Andrew actually is a lawyer, Hasan is continuing to defame and spread false information that Andrew isn't actually a lawyer, which he is. So that's malice, that means that standard. And then it makes this case all the more stronger. So, yeah, I mean, goddamn, 1.7 million people follow Hasan? That is gross. Jesus Christ.
Than what the most deranged...
Hasan called him a passport bro.
Antis...
What? Do you know what a passport bro is? The passport bro is somebody who, trains or learns to get temporary residency in a country, usually for sexual gratification. And it's short-lived, it's only months long, and they're usually back in their home country. Andrew's not a passport bro. He's a long-term resident of multiple countries in Southeast Asia. He does not meet that standard or definition. So, definition. So, what? Check my Discord. Okay, I'll check my Discord.
Might try to cook up. There is some need to respond to that. And also, there is a need to bring up some very real legal trouble that Mr. Piker may be in regarding California, especially as some individuals look to come against him. So first of all, we're going to start by reviewing the defamation itself. And this does come in the form of a video, which I have right here for you guys. And this is Hasan kind of responding to his chat and talking about me and why he's not going to review my videos. And I just want to start out by saying I love the fact that you're going to see immediately how he jumps to ad hominem, because ad hominem or personal attacks, when used as a debate strategy or when used to rebuke someone actually represent a concession. That actually means you are incapable of making a legal argument or an objective argument or an informed argument or in any sort of educational argument. You're simply trying to discredit someone personally to get around the fact you lack the capacity to actually argue. And so I actually don't take offense to that. I'm very used to it, having been on the internet for years now. So we'll get into this video and the thoughts by Mr. Piker.
Dude, there's something so funny about people being like, dog, have you seen the legal mindset video about you? Dude, if I were to cover every Rumble lawyer, fake lawyer that it actually is.
So let's stop right there. Okay, so Rumble lawyer is very interesting. And I think he may mention. So let's stop.
Cover the legal mindset video about you. Dude, if I were to cover every Rumble lawyer, fake lawyer that
JP
Ravenfly
so let's stop
gives
right
Eva
there.
some
Okay,
head
so
pats.
Rumble lawyer is very interesting. And I think he may mention Rumble again. While I do have, I guess, still a Rumble account, I haven't uploaded it to years. I don't stream on Rumble. I only stream on YouTube, primarily as a major platform. I've tried the others. I don't like them.
I was going to say, I think I remember has Andrew trying to stream, like multi-stream with Rumble, like last year, like a year and a half ago. But I don't remember like a Rumble stream from him in a hot minute. Also, Andrew's not a long-time resident. He's only been in Asia since 2000. I know that's incorrect. I know for a fact it's incorrect. I've known Andrew longer than since 2023, and he was in whatever. Okay, Revena, let's just focus on the video here, not slandering Andrew, okay?
Rumble, just as a comment, initially offered a very good package contractually to stream on their platform, good advertising packages. That fell off way back towards the COVID days. So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. Now, fake lawyer is interesting, and I want to throw out here that that's possibly the most defamatory thing. Now, I want to give Mr. Piker some credit here, because perhaps he knows nothing about me or knows nothing about the law. Well, clearly he knows nothing about the law or what words mean. Lawyer is anybody with a law degree, whether or not they're licensed and practice law. So anybody who's gone to law school is indeed a lawyer. Now, attorney is someone above lawyer. You could say that word is perhaps not interchangeable, but similarly related insofar as they're not only a lawyer, not only do they have a law degree, but an attorney has to be licensed.
You dumbass. You just doxed somebody. Banned. You can't dox people, dude. JP Ravenfire, can you make sure this guy's banned? Other stuff too. Sorry, Revelous, I was allowing you to speak your piece up until the point where you decided to dox him, which I just got through telling you is a criminal offense in the state of California, of which I am a resident. You cannot do that. Thank you. Make sure he's gone. Jesus Christ, people.
To practice in their state. I'm licensed to practice in the state of Florida. So I am both a lawyer and an attorney above that. So thinking about that logically, as a little bit of education, all attorneys are lawyers, but not all lawyers are attorneys. There you go, Mr. Piker. That's a language. So that statement is indeed false, right? That I am a quote-unquote fake lawyer because I indeed possess a law degree from the University of Florida. So that's...
Yeah, again, everybody, apologies for that. I try to, like, do a free speech platform. I allow people to speak their mind. He was approaching the line, but he had not crossed it up until he had posted Andrew's full legal name. That is, in my mind, that is doxing. It's against TOS. It's against the law in the state of California. It's against the law in the state of Florida, of which I know Andrew is a resident of. And so, sorry about that to everybody, to the chat, for the people in the VOD watching later. Yeah, that we just had to deal with that. Regardless of if it's false information or not, the intent was clear. Which is funny that we're talking about that given what we were just covering. Everything about intent. Whether or not the information that you actually get out is true, if your intent is to cause harm or threaten or intimidate, yeah, that we just went through.
Statement in the future would be defamatory. And with Mr. Piker, we do have to remember, and with myself and other figures, is that we are all public figures. So we follow the New York Times versus Sullivan standard. We have a higher standard for defamation than the normal private individual. So now that that's been clarified publicly for Mr. Piker, and that he will well know that information is false and defamatory, to continue to do so would perhaps incur liability on the part of Mr. Piker. But let's continue to see what he has to say about me. This is fun.
Like a fucking right-wing freak that spends most of their time talking about like trans people.
So that's very interesting. So I will say this. Most of my time talking about...
I'm sorry, like how outdated. Like, has Andrew ever really talked about trans people like obsessively or like on a consistent basis? I followed him since like 2022, 2021, like COVID era is when I came across his videos. His involvement in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial, you know, the trial coverage and stuff like that's pretty much when I picked up on legal mindset. So my question here is, like, when in that amount of time has Andrew just made shitloads of videos on trans people? Like, what? Don't suck.
About trans people. The issues I have been covering lately have been the Ethan Klein lawsuit, have been Johnny Somali, have been Vitali. Now, unless you are counting something with Somali or Vitali as a trans issue, which I would struggle to understand how that would fit in, then yeah, that's not at all what my content has been about for the past years. So very interesting thing. Also, I keep politics out of my streams, and it's particularly over the last year, 6 months, definitely last 6 months and a year, I have endeavored to keep my streams as objective and educational and make it a environment where everybody is welcome. Even people who like Hasan Piker are welcome in my chat, so long as they are civil, so long as they keep the conversation from violating the terms of service of the platform.
Okay, now I have not watched a lot of Nicholas Rekieta after the Amber Heard v. Johnny Depp stuff, but was Rekieta somebody who was obsessed or talked a lot about with trans people? I don't even think he was until after everything happened and like he started falling apart. But again, that's just Rekieta, that's not Andrew. And if Hasan calls Andrew a passport bro, then he must know at least enough about him to know that he is a lawyer traveling abroad.
I indeed do care about abiding by the terms of service of the platform. That is, you are welcome in my chat, whether you're right, left, center, whether you're apolitical, whether you don't care about politics, it doesn't matter at all to me. I care about the law and educating people on the law. That's the core of my channel. So let's continue.
I would lose my mind. I would have no time to cover anything else. I get it. A lot of you are drama perverts, okay? And you nut when you think about the prospect of drama. But I'm not.
I will say, I actually do not like drama. And in fact, on my channel, I try to avoid drama. In fact, even in carrying out my behaviors, I try to make sure that I am focusing more on the legal aspects of things rather than the dramatic elements, personal problems, the stuff that people did. I try to focus on the legal elements of a story. Now, sometimes to get to the legal elements, you have to give background, you have to give context, because things don't make sense in context, without context. However, yes, I would agree with Hasan that I don't like drama, but what Hasan tends to define as drama, and what it appears he's defining as drama, is anything that disagrees with the things he's doing. So by somebody saying what you are doing is objectively risking lawsuits, it's objectively wrong, or for example, saying that, hey, your orbiters, Denims and Frogan, they're gonna lose under copyright infringement. Here's the explanation of the law. Apparently,
it does seem like an odd amount of like projection for like Hasan to talk directly to his audience and go, you guys are a bunch of drama perverts. Well, if they are all in your audience Is there perhaps a reason that your audience is filled with drama perverts? Or vice versa? Could it be that you yourself are a drama pervert? Oh my stars. Does Hasan ever make sense, if even in context? I don't know, I don't watch him.
That's drama, to objectively educate people on the law. That's a new definition of drama to me. And I don't know what you guys think, chat.
Going to pay any mind or any attention to some fucking psychotic MAGA lawyer, not a real lawyer, but a passport bro.
Okay, that's really interesting. Once again, he repeats the defamation, saying I'm not a real lawyer, which is indeed wrong. And it's interesting, and MAGA, of course, don't bring up politics. That I've never talked about that at all recently at all. But beyond that, passport bro is interesting. Because the definition of a passport bro is typically someone that would visit a location for a short period purely for sexual purposes. And for anybody who knows anything about me, I'm a long-term resident of several countries in Asia. I've been a resident of the Republic of South Korea, the Kingdom of Thailand, the Philippines, and Japan. These are all wonderful, amazing countries, and I do help people obtain legal visas and legal residence long-term in these countries because they appreciate the culture, the lifestyle, the quality of life, the peace, the safety, the tranquility. These are amazing things about living in Asia. And another amazing thing is that, unlike America, and this may be surprising to Hasan, it is not as easy to get away with being an illegal migrant to these countries. So if you try to illegally migrate to Japan or Korea, very good luck to you, sir. Because likely you will end up in the cell next to Johnny's.
Pretty quickly. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna end up next to Johnny in a cell, because that's the thing. They're very, very on top of their immigration law and stuff, because these are small, often island nations. They do not have the space, time, or resources to be dealing with somebody trying to fucking play hooky in the country.
Somalia, aka Ramzi Khalid Ismail, if you try that in Korea, it's not going to go well for you. So I would insist that perhaps the only person that perhaps between the two of us would be a passport bro is the individual who visited Berlin solely for the purpose of going to a brothel. But that's neither here nor there.
Wait, what? Holy shit, what? Oh my god. Oh my god, hold on, we have to go back. Oh my god, I was wait, did he just wait.
Insist that perhaps the only person that perhaps between the two of us would be a passport bro is the individual who visited Berlin solely for the purpose of going to a brothel. But that.
Did he do that? Did Hasan fucking do that? Because that is literally the definition of a passport bro. To visit a country for the sole purpose of visiting one of their brothels. That's like the definition. Okay, well then, fucking, okay, this is just a big old projection then. Dude, what, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what is, oh my god, I'm having
that's
a
neither
fucking conniption.
Here nor there. Let's continue.
Who offers fucking courses on becoming a passport bro.
I'm sorry, he offers courses on becoming a passport bro? Legal mindset, I'm sure he's going to answer this, but I'm pretty sure there are no courses that are offered by Andrew in regards to becoming a passport bro.
Who primarily fucking streams on Rumble.
Neither one of those things are true. I do not have a single course on becoming a passport bro, and I do not primarily stream on Rumble. I only stream on YouTube. So, yeah, there we go.
Why do you guys come in here and ask for this stuff? It's never going to happen.
And that's the great point. I'm going to leave it right there. It's never going to happen because Hasan lacks the capacity to actually address real issues and to actually respond to legal or objective arguments, because he's incapable of doing that. Not only because he's not a lawyer, even a non-lawyer can make an argument, can make a policy position, can say this should be this way for XYZ, but because he needs to discredit others by ad hominem in order to try to win an intellectual argument.
That's, by the way, if you have to resort to character assassination or ad hominem in order to win a intellectual discussion regarding like the law or objective facts and stuff, that is the lowest rung on the ladder of like debate, discussion, argumentation, any of that. Like, you are the lowest of the low as far as like a debater goes.
And frankly, that's at the lowest level of argumentation. But one thing you really can't argue with is the law. And in fact, there's a California law, which was pointed out by a California lawyer friend of mine, where that shows that he may have violated this statute. 6'5".
Oh, thank you for the shout out. Low key shout out from Legal Mindset. Holy shit.
3.2. Involving electronic cyber harassment. So this is the statute which reads, every person who with the intent to place another in reasonable fear of his safety. So if you have the intention to scare somebody else, to place them in fear of their safety or the safety of that person's family by means of an electronic communication device, a computer or a cell phone, and without the consent of the other person, and for the purpose of imminently causing that other person unwanted physical contact, injury, or harassment by a third party, electronically distributes, publishes, emails, hyperlinks, or makes available for downloading personal identifying information, including but limited to a digital image of that other person or an electronic message of a harassing nature about that other person, which would be likely to incite or produce that unlawful action. So he put out that photo, and he engaged in those actions with the intent to instill fear in that other individual. So that individual could look into contacting California law enforcement, could look into that pertaining to Hasan and take action thereby. Very interesting.
Okay, so again, not only are these two able to do this, if they live in the state of California, they also have the ability to bring this against Hasan in civil court under the same statute, because last year California made it possible for victims of this law to sue the person who violated that law in civil court. That happened just last year. So this is incredibly concerning for Hasan. Hasan should be concerned, because again, I mean, if it does not read out almost exactly as how it played out on video, that law, like what you should not do, and then Hasan Witten did those things, as though he used the law as a fucking playbook. I swear to God. There we go. Anyway, any whoosies, we have one more. Yeah, one more. We got one more. Diddy verdict. Diddy verdict is in. What is next? So this was important because I saw a lot of people like they're upset, obviously, about what happened, but I don't think they're upset for the right reason. They were upset like with the jury, even though some of the charges that people voted guilty on were dropped and the jury weren't able to actually find on those. As well as, like, okay, sure, they didn't find him on the racketeering and the RICO charges, which are hard to prove anyway. Remember, RICO was basically made for Al Capone, and they didn't get Al Capone with RICO. They got him for fucking tax evasion or tax fraud or whatever. So again, yeah, he didn't get the big one, but he was found on other things. And we're gonna let Andrew cover that. I am too. I'm extremely upset with the prosecution.
The verdict is in the case of Sean John Combs, aka Diddy, in a long criminal trial. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is Legal Mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. Many people wanted me to break down what's going on with the Diddy verdict, what's next, what jail time are we looking at the time that he may spend behind bars for what he was convicted of. So I thought I'd do that today.
It's always Texas.
In this Fast Facts premiere episode. If you like these quick episodes, please let me know in the comments below.
I do, and
it
don't forget,
inspire
like,
me
like seriously. Like it, See, I'm already subscribed. I hit the notification bell several times. Oh my god, thank you so much, Magnafalls, for the 5 Elfpire Eva gifted memberships. We have a thing for that. Hold on, we have a thing for that. I'm pretty sure it's this. Yeah, we're gonna do one of these. Let's do where is it? I have it somewhere. I know it. So I had to cuddle my cat for a bit. Oh, that's no problem. Is it this worm? No. Right, John, it is. I found it. Okay. Okay, here we go. Can't you gotta love this? This is Jesus Christ. Here we go.
What does tofu and dildos have in common?
What?
What does tofu and dildos have in common?
The fuck? I don't know.
They're both meat substitutes. Oh! Peace! I'm out!
Oh my god! Oh Jesus, I'm sorry, but that was fucking great. Oh Jesus Christ. By the way, that was more of an uncle joke in my opinion than a dad joke, but you know.
More of the shorter format. So as always, we have a lovely PowerPoint presentation,
Jesus.
and let's get right into it. So obviously, you guys know Sean John Combs, Diddy. He was facing multiple charges related to several behaviors that he was allegedly engaging in at these Diddy parties, and there were some serious charges that were brought against him, but ultimately those were narrowed down to 5 core counts, 5 core charges. And we had yesterday a verdict. The jury went out once to decide. They had decided on 4 out of 5 of the counts, but they were split on the RICO, on the racketeering. They went back out, came back with a verdict, and ultimately what we got was not guilty on 3 counts and guilty on 2 counts. So on count 1, which was racketeering conspiracy, which was the biggest one, the one that could carry up to life for the RICO offense, not guilty. Not guilty of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Guilty on count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. Not guilty on count 4 of sex trafficking. Once again, the second sex trafficking. And guilty on count 2 of transportation to engage in prostitution. So 2 prostitution charges that he's guilty of, count 3 and 5. They did not get him on the sex trafficking and did not get him on the RICO. Now, a lot of people ask, why is this? And we don't know precisely why yet. And even after we get the jury's version, that never may be the entirety of the truth. There's a lot of reasons. My speculation, and these are some of the top reasons, I think. The first one is racketeering, conspiracy, RICO. They probably did not do a good job on the prosecution side of explaining that to the jury, convincing them of that. This is one that if it's explained well, if they...
I mean, racketeering, again, the RICO charges, those are so fucking hard to actually, to explain and properly, because all the jury's going to see is what results in a RICO trial. Okay, that's up to life in prison. What in the world, what this better be beyond a shadow of a doubt? And it's very hard to prove racketeering and conspiracy beyond a shadow of a doubt. I put that one on the prosecution. Now, what I'm interested in is why they found them guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution, the prostitution charges, but not sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Was this another dropped ball by the prosecution? Did they not explain what happened well enough to the jury?
Laid it out clearly. They should have been able to get that, but apparently they didn't do that. Another thing that has been brought up is perhaps some sympathies of the jurors. It seems like some may have had strong opinions. Maybe they had strong opinions about the witnesses. Maybe they didn't like some of the witnesses or some of the people. Maybe they didn't think they were credible witnesses. That's another one. Or
Interesting.
maybe, and this is another one, maybe the defense just did a stellar job. So all of these things are possibilities, but we're always faced after we muse these possibilities with the reality.
Like, because
And the
here's the thing, because a lot of people are gunning at the jury, and again, I almost never blame the jury. It's almost always going to be on the prosecution or the defense, and the job that they did, and the job that they did explaining what happened to the jury. The jury is a group of laymen who it is expected for what happened and what violations occurred to be plainly and clearly laid out in front of them so they can make a decision. Like, if that didn't happen or the jury had trouble, that's on the lawyers and the judge. That's not on the jury, in my opinion. Defense had no witnesses. Defense didn't have to call any witnesses if the state did not meet their burden. Defense felt the urge or the need that, like, okay, well, you don't even have enough for us to address what you're talking about. We're not going to call any witnesses. We're not going to have Diddy testify because you have not met your burden to elicit a response from us.
Reality is that yes, he is.
So again, this does sound like the prosecution was just extremely weak in their case and how they argued it to the jury.
He's not convicted of
The DA has to accept the verdict.
everything, and he's not convicted of.
And well, I mean, I get, well, there's only a few instances in which really, like, an appeal could be made. Something extremely improper comes out, like that, well, no, because it's already been adjudicated by a jury, so that's double jeopardy. You say, no, yeah, this is it.
Of the harshest charges. However, he didn't get away scot-free. He still has 2 guilty counts, 2 guilty convictions. So what does that mean? What's next? Well, the first thing is, and this is Judge Asun Rahman, who actually came out and said, hey, we're not going to give this guy bail. So this is the judge in Diddy's case, this guy right up here. He said, hey, we're not giving any bail because Diddy has a disregard for the rule of law and a propensity for violence. And he said there's no requirement under the law. There's no reason why we have to give Diddy bail. And because we don't have to give Diddy bail, we're not going to give Diddy bail. So he's not entitled to bail. It's not something that he must get. So they're not going to give Diddy bail. However, what does that mean for his sentencing? So now that Diddy is convicted, he has to be sentenced, right? So he's been convicted on 2 counts, 2 guilty counts. So he has to be sentenced on those counts. So what type of time is Diddy facing? Now, I know a lot of clickbait is going to be out there talking about the max possible sentencing because that's something that happens on YouTube. People want to give huge numbers. They want to say, oh, look, he's facing 20 years, 20 years. It is far from 20 years when you look at the reality.
Got hit with a nun glitch. Message me what you mean by that. I'm not sure what that even means, but I can address it in a bit. A judge can sentence guilty against jury advisory if the evidence is there. Again, it's very, very rarely done that way. But yes, technically speaking, it could be done that way. But again, a judge almost never exercises that because, again, it has to, you have to be, right, the finding has to be, like, egregious on a level that is almost incomprehensible.
Reality of how these things are applied, particularly how they're going to be applied to Diddy. So we're going to look at that specifically and get you a real number, some real numbers on what I would estimate that Diddy would be facing. So let's get into that right now. So what is Diddy facing? So first of all, the sentences almost always run concurrently, not consecutively. So that would mean at the same time. So the real max for those 2 charges is not 20, but actually 10. The effective real max is 10. Now, beyond that, you have to look at the sentencing guidelines. These are guidelines which walk you through how harshly you should sentence somebody, under what categories you should sentence somebody. If they have a criminal history, it's more severe. And while these guidelines are not a straitjacket, the judge does not have to follow them to the T. they are generally abided by. So we're going to look at those guidelines and say, okay, how much is Diddy going to be sentenced? So when you look at those guidelines, you pull those up for promoting a commercial act or prohibited conduct with an individual other than a minor. You look at the offense level, and these are numbers, and we're going to remember these numbers. 34 if it is trafficking of children, which this is not. So it is not 18 USC 1591. Instead, it is 2, any other offense, and that is number 14. So remember the number 14.
So he's
That's the level at which we're going to go to on the sentencing guidelines. So we flip over here, and here's the sentencing guideline. We go to magic number 14, and we look at their criminal history. So the offense level is 14. We've determined our power level here. And then we've got our criminal history. Well, Diddy has no prior criminal history. He's never been convicted of anything like this in federal court before, period. So you go look down, you say, okay, well, he's at the lowest level of this. He's at the lowest level of criminal history. So you go down here, go to 14, and you look at 15 to 21. This is in months. So 15 to 21 months.
Okay, so he's looking...
But wait, Diddy's already been behind bars for 10 months. He's going to get time served.
Yeah,
so realistically, what you have to do is you have to take this 15 to 21 minus the 10 months, and you get the reality of 5 to 11 months, not even a year in jail. Now, that being said, does that mean the judge has to give him this? No. In fact, the judge does not have to give him this time. The judge can even look at...
Is there any aggravating factors that the judge might weigh in? Like, was Diddy particularly remorseful? Did he respect the court and the process or anything like that? Or was he just a big dick and, like, will that weigh against the sentencing? Because that's kind of what I'm wondering.
The crimes for which he was accused of, and there was perhaps evidence, but he wasn't convicted of. They can look at broader conduct. The judge can take a wider scope in sentencing, and the judge can bump this up, but within reason, right? If the judge goes too crazy, if the judge goes too wild and really makes this a much higher number than 5 to 11 months, there's a lot of cause to challenge that, to try to attack
it can be challenged,
that sentencing. So I think realistically, 5 to 11 months, yeah, that's a good estimate. I think anything higher than 5 years would be crazy.
Too. And wait a minute. Also, registration as a sex offender? Why? Is engaging with a prostitute appropriate to be put on the sex offender registry list? Because he was not found guilty of anything else other than engaging with a prostitute, which again is just a commerce thing. And like I didn't know that you could actually be put on that list just for, you know, visiting the red light district. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, it's a sex crime. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Oh. I didn't even think about that, but that's interesting. Gotcha.
Crazy in terms of using the guidelines. Now, once again, this isn't to say anything morally about Diddy. This is just looking at the reality of the guidelines, the reality of the sentencing table, and how things play out in real court. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think this is a good outcome, bad outcome? How long do you think Diddy should be in jail? And I will catch you on the next.
There we go. Very, very nice. Wasn't some weapons he had illegal use it? We didn't face any weapons charges. Like, I mean, if that was the case, then he should have, like, the prosecution should have brought weapon charges up against him, but they didn't. So that, again, that's on prosecution. I don't know how FedMove works out. So, of this mayor, okay, that's fair. Have a good day, Hero. Okay, Hero 101, have a good day. Let's over, have a nice stream. Aquaric, you have a good one too.
It took a while to find the right...
more things. Oh, hey, calm down, Beliar. I wasn't sure I was ready for you yet, motherfucker. In fact, I'm not. Basically, apparently Xbox laid off like thousands of employees. It's really bad.
They have already...
Okay, so instead what we're doing is we are now going to be reacting to some of the Sup-Kun game stuff. Particularly last week, some of you asked me if I was going to react to Accursed Farm's response to pirate software in regards to Stop Killing Games. So what I've decided to do, instead of reacting to the full hour, I'm going to, he's timestamped it, and he has a response to pirate software, and it goes from about 20 minutes in to about 50 minutes in. So that's about 30 minutes worth of content here that we're going to react to, and then I'm actually going to, because it's been removed since, and I'll also give a little bit of updates on Stop Killing Games, pirate software and stuff, but I also have pirate software's initial response that's now been removed to the video. Accursed Farm's video and his response to him. So this happened just 2 weeks ago. Is when Accursed, I didn't realize that was that. I could have reacted to this sooner, but I didn't realize. And pirate software's behavior and recent things that have happened to him have made this response and everything far more relevant, in my opinion. So we're gonna go through it. Yeah, Xbox laid off a shitload of people to replace them with AI. He's pretty fucked. 9,000, Jesus Christ, that many? My God. That's so bad. Who's covering this? No, this is me covering this. I'm taking Accursed Farm's actual statement. We're gonna react to that, and then I'm going to read Pirate Software's response to that he has since deleted. So this isn't a Tozy, this isn't anybody. This is me. This is more commentary than reactionary. So I get like, oh, is this a Tozy covering it? Because he's the guy who does that. But no, this we're kind of doing ourselves. We're doing it live. Okay, so that being said, here we go. A response to...
there is a clear...
Okay, here we go. This is where we're going to start. And I'm going to also put it up, because nothing against Accursed Farms, but he talks a little on the anti-zoomer brain side. So I'm going to bump up the playback speed just a little bit, 1.25, which should be good. And we're gonna hit play. Exo Arts, welcome to the chat.
Patient zero where others come from. Okay, I really don't want to do this next part, but it's become a liability for the campaign for me not to. Our biggest critic by far is YouTuber and streamer Pirate Software, who goes by Thor. If your only exposure to Stop Killing Games has been this video, then you've been misinformed. This video is by someone who does not understand the campaign, has been trying to stop it, and has been making up what it is about. I am not saying that lightly. I will...
Okay, so for those who don't know, Stop Killing Games... you know what? We're going to bring it up. Stop Killing Games is a European initiative that was requiring 1 million signatures that was started last year, I believe, by Accursed Farms. It would basically... I'm going to bring it up myself because I don't want to misrepresent it. But Stop Killing Games... Let me just do this. Bam. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers. An increasing number of video games are sold effectively as goods with no stated expiration date, but designed to be completely unplayable as soon as support from the publisher ends. This practice is a form of planned obsolescence and is not only detrimental to customers, but makes preservation effectively impossible. Furthermore, the legality of this practice is largely untested in many countries. Over the past year, we have successfully escalated complaints on this program to consumer agencies in France, Germany, and Australia, and have brought forth petitions to new law on this problem to various countries. A list of the actions taken to date can be viewed here. As of 2025, most consumer actions on this matter has concluded, and we are awaiting decisions on it from several governments. However, there are a few remaining. So here's the initiative, right? We are at now 1.2, which is good. 60% overdrive, which allows the audit that's going to end up happening, because you have to be a European citizen in order to actually sign this. There's going to be an audit on this, and they're going to probably knock this down. The higher it is, the more of a chance that after the audit, there's still going to be more than 1 million signatures, and the initiative can then move forward. So that's kind of what's going on there. Let us go ahead and move on back to the video.
We'll prove it in a minute. Now you might be thinking, okay, so some YouTuber got something wrong on the internet. So what? See, that was my thinking too. The problem is how incredibly influential this YouTuber has been. Remember that list of coverage on the campaign? Well, best I can tell, Thor's coverage has been bigger than literally anyone else on those lists.
If you live in the European Union or like the UK, then you can sign it. Absolutely, go to stopkillinggames.com. It should tell you if you are eligible and if where you live is viable for you to sign it. But absolutely, sign this initiative. This initiative is incredibly important for preserving games beyond what the publisher is willing to support afterward. For instance, one of my favorite games and one of the first games I ever played in my life was a game called Tribes Vengeance. Fucking amazing game, but when I came into the game, it was already a dying community. There wasn't a ton of people, maybe a few dozen people actually playing that game. But the software developer, and I'm forgetting who made that game, but they shut down the servers, but they allowed the code to remain open for fans to actually create their own quote-unquote central server that you could create servers on and basically restore functionality to the game. They allowed this just by default. This is basically what the initiative is wanting to do and talk about is, hey, this is how we want games to be able to continue forward. When the publisher is done with it, there should be some matter of playability still retained in the game, regardless of whether or not the central server is still functioning.
Gold. And the only video Asmongold had on this bigger than Thor's was about Thor's video. So for all practical purposes, Thor here has been the #1 voice on the campaign, and he's been lying about what it is. That's a bit loaded though. In this case, I'm using the second definition of lie. I have no evidence it's the first. This video came out right as we were building momentum, then except for one boost in Germany, the signatures started drying up like clockwork. This put me in kind of a no-win scenario too, because if I ignored it, then a lot of people were going to get misinformed about the campaign. But if I did a response video, which is not something I want to do anyway,
don't sign it if you
then
don't live in a
drama
proper
farming,
area.
which could understandably turn off a lot of people from the campaign, because it's not about that at all. So I quickly made this video trying to clear up all misconceptions and concerns about the initiative with timestamps for everyone's questions, hoping the truth would eventually come out. I can see now that was a mistake. I should have just embraced the drama. To this day, I'm still getting frequent comments and emails about the same falsehoods about the campaign that originated in this video. Well, now I have nothing to lose. If we don't get the signatures, then none of this matters anyway. So if this campaign is failing because of me not talking about this, then I'll at least correct history here on the way down. I'll get this over with.
And here's the thing, I will say, in 2 weeks, that fucking initiative exploded. I saw it was barely over 100K a couple weeks ago when this came out. This blew up, and Accursed Farms, I'm sorry, you did learn here, calling out pirate software and like, I'm sorry, but generating this drama a little bit. And I will say this is not really drama because, again, it has to do with the formation of a law, talking about the formation of a law, this initiative, that's what that is. So, again, it like pirate software made, in my view, a deliberate attempt to stop the signatures from happening way back when. You making this video is not only appropriate, I believe you are obligated to, and I think the numbers and how many people have since signed it, since this came out only 2 weeks ago, is a testament to that fact.
And go over what I think are the biggest points of Pirate Software's videos. I'm not going to go over everything because collectively Thor has made hours of video on both me and the movement. I'd be here forever. Believe me, I could address smaller things too.
It is legally relevant, yeah.
All right, let's start. Okay, point
Thanks
number
so much
one.
for signing.
Thor does not understand what Stop Killing Games is. Here it is in his words.
So for those who don't understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically
him and his fucking pains. I'm sorry, he's fucking, he just, like, does anybody understand how condescending this really is? Like now, I'm sure people do, but this is basically teacher going up to the chalkboard and walking it through you and holding your hand like you're a fucking baby. I always had an issue with the paint thing. It's always been a little weird to me. It's one thing to make a graph, but like this, like he takes it to such an remember Asmund Goes Grass? He would show graphs to show like numbers and stuff like that, which makes sense, it's relevant. But this is like him going, this is a square, this is a circle, and the triangle travels in a trapezoid to get to this. It's like, stop it. You're being rude, honestly. Anyway, Spider Bro, thank you so much for the 5. This problem is also harming single-player games. I can't play Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands, because Ubisoft shut the online server down. Yes, you also can't play some of the older, I think it's Assassin's Creed 1 or 2. You can't play anymore. It fucking shuts you down. Is this the guy who just reached pre-beauty with a deeper voice? Yeah, pretty much. I used to respect him, then he started huffing MS spray. He started huffing the sucking MS spray. That's so
to
funny.
have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. They need to be specific.
I like paint too, and it's a good demonstrable, sure. But the way that he uses it, he's explaining it to you as though you're an idiot. And I've always been taken aback by that. Jim, okay, I was just making words to make a point. Whatever, JP. Okay, you know what? You got my angry face. There you go, angry face.
That they're talking about single player games that do not need a server to support them.
No.
And as much as they want it to be about specifically games, where it is a single player game that has always online functionality, it would impact every live service game that exists. Instead of just targeting single player, always online games.
No,
it's
that's not what it is.
targeting single player.
Stop Killing Games includes single player games, but nothing about it is
yes,
specific
it
to
does.
them.
But yeah, there you go.
Completely
Okay,
made that up,
Ross, go
and I have
for
no
it.
idea where he got that impression. This is what I mean. It's harder for gamers to understand this because they...
Yeah, that's the problem. Jesus. He's approaching this like a good guy. Like a good guy who believes that the person that they are arguing with is arguing in good faith and not employing shitloads of different fucking fallacies and argumentative tactics to fucking get... Jesus, it's just like, it's annoying to me when I see this happening. Zorn knows exactly what the fuck he did when he decided to qualify Stop Killing Games with only wanting single-player games preservation. He did that intentionally, I promise you. It's a very common tactic when it comes to argumentative writing, video making, etc. Trust me, I'm a lawyer. I know that was intentional. I find it very hard to believe that somebody like Jason Flash Thor, somebody who is as experienced as they are in the industry, would have read the Stop Killing Games and the initiative that we all just read and would have come, oh yeah, this is about single player games and DRM. No, dude, it encompasses that a little bit, but no, absolutely not. Exactly, exactly. Accursed Films is trying to good faith argument this bad faith argument, and I felt bad for him because it always comes across as messy. Luckily, we know with hindsight rather, that this actually worked out very well. But it's one of the few times that it does.
They come with so many assumptions. It's like that saying about doctors being the worst patients. So let's clear this up. It's the first line on the website. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers. But the movement includes all this stuff from earlier, and he was mostly talking about the initiative. Well, the short version is the initiative is about requiring publishers to have end-of-life plans for games they've sold to customers in the future. So when they shut them down, customers can continue running them without their support. The long version depends on what kind of transaction is being made. As you can see, it's not easy to explain in a soundbite. But if you notice, we don't make a distinction between single-player and multiplayer games. That's because the law doesn't either.
I mean,
so why make this even harder?
I would argue that it is. I would argue that you could do this in a soundbite and you did it before earlier here. An initiative to require video game publishers to implement end-of-life plans when shutting down games they have sold so customers continue running them without their support. That is a great explanation of the overall goal of the initiative, and it's a great soundbite. In fact, somebody clip that for me. I'll prove it to them.
Customers can continue running them without their support. The long version depends on what kind of transaction is being made. As you can see, it's not easy to explain in a soundbite. But if you notice, we don't make a distinction between single-player and multiplayer
This is not an EU petition. This is an initiative. It's slightly different.
games. That's because the law doesn't either. So why make this even harder? Both the movement and the law are making distinctions on how games are sold. Also, that part he said about it affecting all live service games? Yes and no. It would affect most live service games in the future, but the initiative is not retroactive. So that's one thing Thor doesn't understand, but he also seems to think this is about converting multiplayer games to single player. Once again, he made that up, and I have no idea why he thought that.
Transitioning an entire multiplayer server-side game into a single-player video game, which means rebalancing the entire experience around single player, rebuilding everything in the entire game. How are you going to do that with Final Fantasy XIV? You're just going to make all the raids soloable? Imagine the day that World of Warcraft shuts down, and suddenly you have to make it a single-player game for every individual that ever bought the game. That's what they're asking for.
No.
Because they would have to sunset live service games as a single-player experience. The idea that suddenly you need to make every single live service game playable single-player offline? No, dude.
Correct. No. This one is particularly baffling to me because I've heard most counter-arguments before, but until Thor, I've never heard this one. That we want the industry to convert all multiplayer games into single-player ones. I keep saying it, you never know where gamers are going to take this.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games.
Oh, he's so close. He's so close to getting it.
It is vague, and because of that, it will impact.
He never has that light bulb moment. Well, he is correct in that statement. It's almost as if that's not what the initiative is asking for. But those were his streams with a smaller audience. What does he say in his big YouTube video with over 1 million views that he had time to research?
If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a single-player experience, and then taking away support in the future...
now he's changed it again and is making up how it's about single-player games are advertised. What is he
this
doing?
It needs to be
I
specific
don't know.
about
I don't
the
know,
business
dude.
practice it's trying to defeat, which is specifically companies that are doing this under the guise of it being a single-player game, but adding online-only functionality that is not necessary and doesn't add any gameplay elements. That's the problem.
No, that's not it at all.
And there are some people that will say, well, just make it all single-player.
Like
well,
you?
I've explained that that doesn't make any sense in the first place. If you're making it all single-player, you'd have to carve off all of that, and it's developer time and money. These are two different ideologies, and that's okay to have two different ideologies. I just won't agree with it.
But those aren't the ideologies. Nothing in the initiative is asking to convert games to single-player.
Nowhere in there does it
It's
say that it's
not.
directly targeting always online single-player games.
Yeah, so why does he keep bringing it up? This is a total red herring.
If we don't like the idea of live service games as a whole,
Yeah,
I get it.
it's a red
don't
herring.
play live service
Good
games
job.
then. Don't
No, okay. So Accursed Farms was able to recognize that fallacy type. That was absolutely a red herring. Like there's no connection between what he's saying and the actual issue.
agree to those terms.
No, he's getting a new thing wrong now. We're not against them existing. We're against them being destroyed with no recourse for the customer.
God.
Just use logic. If we didn't like them in the first place, why would we care if they're being destroyed? He says he gets it, but he doesn't.
Let's talk about the actual bad business practices. In the case that a studio is making a live service game and they sell it to you as a product, they say that you are purchasing the game or you are buying the game, when in reality you're actually purchasing or buying a license to that game. I think that we should be fighting about that. The initiative is not trying to call that out specifically. It's trying to say that all games need to stay in a functional, playable state.
Yes!
Which is not calling out the language that is being used to manipulate the player. Call that out specifically.
Okay, I don't know if he's doing this intentionally. I'll be charitable and assume he's not.
He is. I know. You're a charitable guy, dude. You super are. Like, seriously, guys, like him. How am I not subscribed? What the hell? Oh, see that? Do all the things I just did. Do all the freaking things I just did. He's a great guy, and you know what? This is how you should always argue, is giving the other side the benefit of the doubt, because then it makes your points that much stronger when you point out the illogical fallacies that they're using, while, like, just standing on the facts of the case, like, what this initiative is about. You're just keeping it there. He's throwing all these qualifiers. Oh, it's about single player. It's about converting multiplayer into single player. So, and you're like, no. These are all wrong. I don't know if you're doing this intentionally. I do, and he is. But, it's good of you to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I put a video in video suggestions where a developer examines pirate software. Oh, okay. We'll probably check that out.
But this is some serious obfuscation. He's complaining that the initiative isn't focused on another topic he made up. I mean, what is that logic? Hey, the initiative doesn't address how Capcom changed the look of Dante in the Devil May Cry reboot either. That may as well be what he's saying there. I am not aware of a game on the planet with a license agreement that says you are not buying a license. Our problem is not with licenses failing to inform people. Blizzard says they can take away your purchase for no reason. That sounds pretty clear to me. Our problem is those terms are so hostile to consumers and the medium that they should be taken off the table entirely. This needs regulation.
Yes.
Forget video games.
Yes.
If you look at basic commerce for hundreds of years, when you paid money, you either got to keep what you paid for, or if it was a service, you were told when your access ends. The vast majority of online-only games do neither of those. The games industry is trying to upend basic commerce. I think you have to go back to feudalism before neither of those things are true. Why even have consumer laws if you have no rights?
If you try to tell me that every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not run one at all, then no one's going to run them.
Oh no! He wheeled out that line about publishers having to support the game forever. He was literally watching the video earlier where it says it won't do that in big letters. That wasn't enough. We just can't stop.
Dude, no, oh Jesus Christ, Jesus fucking Christ, Jesus. Yeah. Okay, I almost got Sunlock there. It just kept fucking repeating Jesus fucking Christ because, oh my God, Thor, how can you say that when you're on the video and it's right there? What the initiative will not do. And yet, how does that happen?
Gamers from going there, even when we spell it out. I admit, guys, this part hurts. To see the biggest voice on this issue get it wrong again and again and again, then put that same wrong information on blast to a far bigger audience that we can reach. It hurts. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what we're asking for. Now, to be fair, it sounded like he was getting a little closer in this video. Yeah, despite being called 2, it's at least the 4th video he did on this.
You want that to stay in a functional playable state? That means the devs have to release either server binaries or somehow carve off the game to be a single-player experience now.
That's better, but he's still talking about converting the single-player right to the end.
And
he never completely got it.
Here's the thing, and you don't have to do that with the binaries. Again, like I mentioned, I have been a part of several games that were its sunset or end of life, that had multiplayer experiences built around, it had a single player experience as well, but it's built around the multiplayer experience, Transcendence being the bigger one. But again, if these publishers were able to just provide to, and I don't even think the publishers just like gave the code. I think I think just the nerds and the autistic people in that community actually reverse engineered the server and network infrastructure that they needed to run on Transvengeance and it will run servers on Transvengeance, and it freaking did it. Well, when it came out, the developers are like, "That's cool. We're not gonna take any action. Enjoy the game." So again, it wasn't like we have to provide this for you. Again, if there is a will, there is a way. I mean, what the hell with Blizzard and the classic WoW? They shut that shit down, even though they said it couldn't even be done. Well, fans fucking did it, and when fans did it, you shut it down. So again, it's not hard. It's not unconceivable. It's not impossible for fans that are dedicated enough to actually create solutions to continue the life of your game long beyond your interest in preserving it. So yeah, Pirate Software's entire argument here falls apart.
So Pirate Software did not understand the initiative. Maybe still doesn't. That means the majority of his critique is about things it would not do, like kill all MMOs.
If that passes, enjoy never playing an MMO again for the rest of your life. And taking away from every other person that plays MMOs.
It really...
Wow, okay guys, so welcome to the slippery slope fallacy. If this happens, you'll never play another MMO again in your life. Can you tell me if that is not the fucking goddamn textbook 101 definition of the fucking slippery slope fallacy? Like, holy shit.
Wouldn't. And I've explained why in that video, but the short version is companies would have to stop liking money for that to happen. Lots of money. But his number one criticism is that he thinks the initiative is vague.
Incredibly vague. Too vague. Very vague. Damn vague. It's vague. It's vague. That is vague. Too vague. Vaguely written. Vague. Incredibly vague. Vaguely worded. Vague. 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 This is vague.
This goes on. Well, from Thor's perspective, his logic is pretty sound for this part. But the thing about logic is it's only as good as your assumed truths. And he's said multiple times now that he thinks the initiative is only about single-player games. So since he's expecting the thing he made up, but that's not what the initiative is asking for, he thinks it's vague. Because for him, it is.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games. It is vague.
Yeah, in fact, if we look at that long definition again.
Because Naruhime brings up an excellent point here. A pirate software really has me flashback to the condescending "you think you do, but you don't" moment. And was that not a Blizzard employee, a Blizzard dev, who said that and responded to a fan who asked about bringing about a classic WoW server? I mean, if that's anything to speak on, is the kind of culture that Blizzard has fostered and that pirate software was raised in, it's no surprise that he's as condescending and self-absorbed as he is.
Let's add a subsection just for Thor. Single-player games with an online DRM check. Those would already fall under this broader category. So Thor is expecting this. Again, I don't know why, but instead he's seeing an initiative that covers all of this. That's why he calls it vague 50 times. The thought that we want what we're asking for and not the thing he made up seems to have never entered his head. The initiative is trying to stop the destruction of games. That's the whole point. It covers the types of games most in need of saving. If we only covered this tiny subsection, that would save maybe 1% or less of games that get destroyed. This would do almost nothing. I'm not saying there isn't one, but I literally can't think of a game that meets this criteria. Every game I know of with single-player content that's been destroyed has been designed to run server-side, not locally. Older ones like that tend to have the DRM cracked, which is not an ideal solution, but that does stop game destruction. And newer ones with the Nuvo or something tend to have it removed by end of life. So I say less than 1%, but this might save 0% of games. I'm not sure. The initiative is actually not that vague. Though to be fair, some people did get hung up on this part. A reasonably playable or functional state. True, that is not 100% specific. There are...
That's specific enough for the courts. That the reason why it is worded like this is for, like, this is what the courts have to litigate. What is reasonably functional? And again, just like many laws and how they are written. Actually, I did find that really funny. What does a pizza delivery man and a gynecologist have in common? They both scrap some cheese. They ate, yes. I'm not going to repeat it because ew, bros. But that was good, and it reminded me of the Pipikin. No, the Papakin. You know what? I'm going to do it again real quick because it's really funny. Here we go. This is what that Venti a la carte. This is what this reminded me of. Just for you, buddy.
What does tofu and dildos have in common?
What?
What does tofu and dildos have in common?
The fuck? I don't know.
They're both meat substitutes. Oh! Peace! I'm out!
Oh, it's too good. It's too freaking good. Alright, here, let's see here. Let's get back to the video, shall we?
Are reasons for that. You know how in law, police can stop a suspect with reasonable suspicion? Or a
There
jury
you
finds
go.
someone guilty beyond all reasonable doubt? That's because the number of situations you face are so varied that the law has to inject some common sense somewhere. It's the same with games. A multi-million-dollar MMO is a different animal from a budget arena shooter. It won't work making highly specific laws. That's one half of it. The other half of it is this sentence is an olive branch to publishers. I've heard complaints this isn't specific enough. Okay, but you know what the alternative to this would be? Here, I'll show you. The game must be fully functional and contain 100% of all features as advertised.
Yeah, and that's going to be... Yeah, there you go. If you put... Yeah, this specific wording here, you're going to argue that this is far too strict and far too narrowing. But the other is far too vague. You can't have it both ways. This is a dishonest argument. If you are against Stop Killing Games and you are pad-footing from one argument to the other, oh, it's too vague, it's too narrow, it's too vague, stop it. You're not being fair.
So as a publisher, which requirement would you rather meet? More importantly, this sentence shows the EU Commission that we're acting in good faith and trying to find a balance. I think some of the people asking for this to be more specific may not realize what they're asking for. I know some won't believe this, but a hell of a lot of thought went into the wording of the initiative. I think it's almost perfect. See, the initiative isn't even a proposed bill.
I think it's pretty
a
good.
negotiation. Our side says we want games to be functional when publishers and support, so they need end-of-life plans. The industry's position is going to be against whatever we write and claim they need no regulation whatsoever. Then the EU Commission gets to decide who is more in the right here. The Citizens Initiative is the opening offer in these negotiations. Trust me, the industry
and that's another thing that I don't like too, because Thor knows this. Thor knows that this initiative does nothing but get the conversation started in like an official capacity regarding the EU. It doesn't actually, it's like, yes, this could lead to laws and regulations being passed, but this in and of itself is not a law. This is just saying, hey, can we talk about this? And Thor coming out against this initiative is saying that, no, we can't talk about this because I know better, and here's why. And I think that's disgusting.
With hundreds of billions of dollars will make its position known to the EU. We don't have to make their case for them. So for this negotiation, simple is good. That's why we're straight and to the point for what we want. Then the industry will argue against that. Then the EU Commission might look for compromises. You don't start a negotiation with a bunch of compromises because then it will get so watered down you won't save anything. Oh, and that long definition list are actually logical extensions of the simpler language used in the initiative. It's actually kind of slick. Plus, there's a character limit on these things. The EU Commission doesn't want you trying to cover 50 edge cases at this phase. All right, so Pirate Software did not understand the initiative. But point two, he also did not make it easy for the truth to get out. I had never heard of him prior to all this, but during the campaign, I had dozens of people contacting me, telling me how wise and reasonable he is, how he's really pro-consumer and represents developers, and I should really talk to him. Great, let's do it. So this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, no, this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's...
Holy shit. Wait a minute. So this came from his actual VOD, right? Because obviously he came out with Stop Killing Games, and that was his YouTube thing. But was this on his VOD? Like, was this how he actually responded? Like, to finding out about the initiative? Like, this is his... Wow. If you're talking about telling, if this was how you fucking reacted, like, if this is your, like, genuine reaction, absolutely disgusting. Hold on. We gotta see this.
Let's do it. So this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, no, this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. No, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I dropped the mask entirely.
Oh my god.
I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Oh, yeah. I can see why people like him. It's like listening to Mr. Rogers. As you can imagine, we've been less than thrilled that Thor here has become the dominant voice of the campaign, especially when he doesn't understand it. Though I did find the used car salesman part amusing, since if people could read my mind, they would understand how much I dread anything resembling sales or marketing, or just trying to push things on people who aren't interested in them. I'm not exaggerating when I said I've hated having to run this campaign.
This is the most uneducated take I have ever seen in games.
Now, as for that one, I do have a bachelor's in criminal justice, which might explain why I'm coming at this from very different angles than he is. You know, focusing on people having rights and checking what consumer law...
Oh, okay, wow, okay, so I didn't know that he had a background in criminal justice, but this makes, like, the wording of the initiative and everything make way more sense. It definitely feels like somebody who has a background in something like that would actually write, you know? Okay, that's cool. So, the most uneducated case. So, Pirate Software pulls at the most uneducated take he's ever seen. Hold on, where is it?
Just trying to push things on people who aren't interested in them. I'm not exaggerating when I said I've hated having to run this campaign.
There we go.
This is the most uneducated take I have ever seen in games.
Now, as for that one, I do have a bachelor's in criminal justice.
Oh, Jesus. You know, a basic, I feel like a cursory lookup of Accursed Farms would reveal this. You right? If you're going to take shots, oh, hello there, Unchained, uh-oh, hold on. Welcome, Unchained Zitty. Zitty? I'm not sure. Anyway, I find it incredibly hilarious. Like, Pirate Software did not do the research necessary. Like, you could have avoided that kind of egg on your face had you looked him up and said, oh, he has a degree in criminal justice. He has an education.
Than he is. You know, focusing on people having rights and checking what consumer law actually says rather than what's most convenient for publishers. Though I think I know where that comment is coming from because I've gotten it before. Here's what I think is happening. Online-only games have a client and a server, but a lot also have middleware that developers don't have permission to distribute to customers, or depend on microservices they have no control over, and the server software isn't even designed to run on a customer system. You can't just cut out the middleware and remove the microservices because they're integrated too deeply. That would still leave the game bricked and could take months to fix and be a lot of work. So I think some devs think we're saying all they need to do is just release the server binaries at end of life, and yay, everything is solved. And that's why they think we're ignorant. Well, for some games that could work, but not ones like these. Plus, that's not what we're saying. First off, we're not even mandating the methodology because, again, doing that could run afoul of copyright law. Second, this whole diagram is looking at a game that exists right now and was never designed to have an end-of-life plan. Those might not be salvageable. So what we're saying is let's take a game in the future. No code has been written yet. It's still just a design document. Okay, so we have the client portion as usual. Then we have the server logic. Now we'll bring in our usual middleware and microservice vendors. Nope, stop. Now, the EU says we can't just brick customer purchases like we've been doing if we want to sell our games there. So that means we can't keep making all these same deals the way we have been. Now we need to renegotiate with the vendors to allow...
See, it makes sense. What he's saying is the initiative is especially talking about games made in the future. Because he acknowledges that most games, as they are set up today, especially live service ones, they're probably beyond redemption, they're beyond saving. They have a limited amount of time left alive, and that's it. We're trying to make it to where games created from here on out have an end-of-life plan that includes the consumer's, well, best interests and their rights.
For an end-of-life build with their software, or redesign things to make the microservices easier to sever at end of life. And vendors probably will renegotiate. Otherwise, they'll start losing sales to everyone who wants to sell games in the EU. But say a vendor refuses anyway. Then we need to go with vendor B, who will offer EU-compliant solutions because they will be happy to take money away from their competitor, vendor A. Or maybe we need to abandon one of the microservices altogether and come up with an in-house alternative that is compatible with an end-of-life plan. And if the server can't run on consumer hardware, well, maybe now we code it in a way that's more versatile and can be compiled to run a stripped-down version with less features for the customer machine at end of life. Or hey, if that's not doable, then we scrap that, but still give customers some form of server software at end of life, because now we've planned for this, and inform them it requires specialized hardware, and they're on their own for getting it working. And these are all just suggestions. The publisher would get to decide how they want to comply. Thor is not alone in developers trashing what I just said. I don't know why, but some of the nastiest insults I've received on the entire campaign have been when I try to explain this is what we're asking for. This part in particular triggers some people to no end.
That video made me actually mad. Like real mad. Not like fake memes mad, like actually mad. Like I'm actually mad.
Upsetting people is not our goal, by the way. We actually want this transition to be as easy as possible for publishers and developers. However, we are stubbornly against proposals that won't stop commercial games being destroyed. Because that's the whole point. Anyway, you heard Thor's comments for me. In light of that, I think I've been pretty diplomatic. I am just trying to get this initiative passed. If that means I have to get insulted all along the way, okay. So with that in mind, I reached out to him, not expecting to change his mind, but to at least clarify things since he got so much wrong. If you're gonna hate us, at least hate us for what we're actually doing, not for things that are made up about us.
I got a message from Ross. There were many other misunderstandings in your video. It's clear that you hate the initiative, and I doubt I would change that. That is correct. I would encourage you to at least hate it for what it accurately is. I do.
He says that so confidently. Oh yeah, you knocked it out of the park. You understood everything.
In other words, the customer is told explicitly that their access ends at the time of payment. Most live service games do not do this, which could run afoul of EU law. Most is patently incorrect.
Patently incorrect? Okay, for those who don't know much about live service games, that's like saying the Earth isn't round. He says verifiably false things so confidently. If his viewers don't know any better, how can I blame anyone for believing what he says about the initiative when he talks like that?
Yeah.
It's incredible. And he does not wish to discuss this with me or anyone else in the initiative. Why not?
Would you consider reaching out and talking to Ross about it? No. And the reason why is because I found his entire statement over the YouTube incredibly disingenuous.
Yes, this issue which has bothered me since I was a teenager and I've spent 10 years on trying to push back against is me being disingenuous. Where is this coming from? Well, it comes from a slide I had in my promotional video, the half-joke slide. He hated this, and I think he may have a rather privileged view of politics.
You want to put together legislation because it's the right thing to do.
We did!
Not because you can convince legal representatives to do it no matter what.
It's both! These are not mutually exclusive things!
The idea that we're going to go through this because it's an easy win, but not the right win? No, dude.
Oh, God. So he misunderstood the initiative and misunderstood our intentions. And in his words, this is why he refuses to...
I love this too, by the way, about, Accursed Farms. He says he misunderstood. No, Pirate Software understood. He misstated. I think that's what's going on. And again, it's the benefit of the doubt. It's why I think Accursed Farms is doing an excellent job with this campaign, is because his innocence in which he approaches, look, this is just what we're doing. This is who we are. Look, if this is what you're saying, you must misunderstand or something, because it leaves the other person on the back foot. Now it's either A, they have to admit they misunderstood, which would admit that they're stupid, or B, double down and just look fucking stupider because you're being downright intentional and malicious with your misrepresentation of what this initiative is. It puts Thor basically between a rock and a hard place. There's no real way that he can react to this or respond to this that won't be compliant with his ego, that would actually make all this go away or set this on the right road for recovery. There's too much in the way in terms of ego for that to happen.
To have a dialogue with the movement. So now I have to address it. Let's keep it basic. He calls me disingenuous, implying I don't believe what I'm pushing for, that this is some sort of con. That's uncharitable to the point of being silly. Besides video evidence going back 10 years, this is not a hard concept to grasp. I hate seeing creative works needlessly destroyed when people are trying to save them, and video games are where I see that happen the most. Of course I believe in what I'm advocating for. Maybe start from there. I'm a little surprised that didn't sink in.
The idea of getting it to pass with an easy win instead of pass because it's good is a problem to me. Absolute problem.
That's not how politics works. Do you think things pass because they're good ideas? Tell that to people who still have lead in their water. A lot of gamers are jaded with good cause. The industry has been shaking them down every which way. The perception that it's hopeless to protect their rights against billion-dollar conglomerates is often correct. If I told people this would pass just because it's a good idea, I wouldn't believe me. This slide is a half joke, but it's also some totally cynical reasons that are often true to let people know we have a chance and this isn't utterly hopeless. Do you think I or most people in the movement give a damn why politicians might pass something good? What we care about is that they pass something good. We don't need them to be true believers. We need them to pass good law. This is as soft as it possibly gets.
Yeah, I've kind of always had that mindset. I'm forgetting the famous individual who I'm quoting or about to quote right now, but he basically said, who cares about who gets the credit for what was done so long as the thing was done? If it's for the common good or whatever, I don't care about putting my name to it so long as the good thing was done. Why associate anything else other than the achievement?
It's in politics. I think most politicians would find this slide funny. It sounds like he's offended I have a low opinion of the political process. Well, I'm the one in the trenches here. I'm not sure if he's upset at me or just upset at reality. Yeah, I am too. Anyway, he went on to delete my reply to him. Thankfully, someone backed it up, and I figured, okay, he hates this. It was thrust upon him by his viewers. I'll just leave him be. Well, that was a mistake on my part, because then he went on to make more videos about me and the movement, now reaching over 1 million views, still broadcasting the wrong information on us. I guess I'm being petty here, but this is alien thinking to me. Why would you call someone out, then run away from a conversation with them when they say there's a misunderstanding, but then go on to make more videos calling them out? Sir, that is not gentlemanly behavior. All right, I know this is going
He's
on
not
too
a
long, so I'll
gentleman.
get to the final point. Thor misunderstood the initiative, misunderstood our intentions, and misinformed a lot of people about both. But the irony is, I think he would have hated it even more if he did understand it. Because first, he doesn't see any of this as a problem.
Gaming isn't in need of saving. No, it's not a form of planned obsolescence. It's called the game no longer being profitable and we turn it off. No games are being destroyed here. These are live service games.
Yeah, you heard him. No games are being destroyed.
Wow,
Does
how
he
the
just
fuck
say
did, wait a
anything?
minute,
Is
what,
that-
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Leah, what the fuck? Well, oh my god, Jesus Christ, I had to hear that again. What the fuck did he just say?
See any of this as a problem.
Gaming isn't in need of saving. No, it's not a form of planned obsolescence. It's called the game no longer being profitable and we turn it off.
That is planned obsolescence. Are you fucking kidding me? If the game is no longer profitable and you turn it off as a result of that, what about my... Jesus fucking, oh my god. Like, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, but he just talks with such confidence.
No games are being
Jesus.
destroyed here. These are live service games.
Yeah, you heard him. No games are being destroyed. Does he just say anything? Is that why he's popular? More to the point, and what I wish he included in his main video, is he supports games being destroyed.
A very strange demand from people in the gaming industry where live service games should live forever, whether in the hands of the developer or otherwise. And I
It's
can't
not.
get behind
Oh my god! And again, I love him qualifying this live service game thing. No, it's about games being playable in the state as you bought them, whether or not they're live service or single player or multiplayer or freaking second, first person, third person, second person view. Oh, fucking, I don't care. Like, it's about games in general and them being able to be played in the same state as when you bought them. I just, Jesus.
I think live service games getting sunsetted is fine. I've always thought that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I have no problems with the end of a video game.
See, I wish he started his big YouTube video with that message instead of deleting it. Instead, he presented himself as pro-preservation and not wanting the medium to die out.
It's incredibly important to me that we keep making games and that the next generation has the tools to do so that our medium doesn't die out. And it never will. And that's the whole intention of all of this.
So he doesn't want games to die out, except he's fine with that. I think there's some cognitive dissonance going on there. And he's against killing single-player games that only have a DRM check, okay? But then says people who buy single-player games with more than a DRM check are stupid, and he doesn't play those.
I don't buy games that are always online single-player games. I refuse to play those because it's stupid.
That's some tough talk coming from a fan of Diablo 4.
It's actually really freaking good. The game's fantastic. Itemization is great. Systems design is great. Berlin has been fantastic.
Holy fit. Dude, Accursed Farms, you can't roast him this hard, man. He can't handle
Characters are good. Voice acting is great.
So is he saying he wouldn't have played Diablo 4's single-player campaign if it didn't have forced multiplayer also? Even though he's praising it and appears to be playing solo? Or is he saying that people that just wanted to play Diablo 4 single-player are stupid? I admit I got lost on his stance there, but what's more clear to me is we're not on the same side. Here's a list of some popular games that are all at risk of being destroyed at some time in the future.
Right now. Hold
the
on.
Stop Killing Games movement.
Watch this. It's been a hot minute, but I'm going to lost this game. Alright, so DICE and EA, not big fans of them, but they treated this game right. This game is a single-player game. It used to have online functions, and no longer does. The servers have shut down, but look what happens when I try to play. This is all that this Stop Killing Games initiative is asking for. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. I have to do this. Okay, there we go. There we go. So, yeah, Shy, but servers for this title have been shut down. Thank you very much for playing. And you're like, uh-oh. Can I not play? Oh, no. Failed to connect to EA Online, social features will be unavailable. Please try again. You can't figure the servers are offline. But regardless of that, I can still node right in and play. This is what I mean. This is what the Stop Killing Games Initiative wants. They want a playable game that's unreasonably playable after you drop support for like the live service aspect or whatever. If you plan on dropping your game and its support, the game should remain playable in some manner. That's all that this is asking for. And yes, that was Music Catalyst, one of my favorite games. Anyway.
Sees any of these being destroyed as a problem, and they're exactly the kinds of games that would start being protected if the initiative passed. Now, a lot of these do have single-player campaigns, but I believe they all require more than a simple DRM check. He says over and over that his problem with the initiative is the wording, and it's vague. But there is no wording he would like that also saves games like these, because he's on the opposite side of this. If he's totally fine with games like these being disabled forever, well, guess what? That's the position of the industry causing this entire problem in the first place. And that's the final point. Thor says he disagrees with how we're going about trying to end game destruction, but he also disagrees with the goal itself. No, wait, I want to be fair. He's only against 99% of it minus that tiny provision he made up. So once you understand that, then of course it makes sense that he's against the Stop Killing Games movement. Because we're trying to stop killing games. Now, if you're in Thor's camp and think killing all these games is fine and are as things should be, okay. Then it's just a values clash. And yeah, you'll hate the initiative too. I'm not trying to tell you otherwise. But if you think you might have been misled about what the initiative is, hey, maybe look at it again. Tell others about it. Help undo some of the damage. There is still time. It closes July 31st. Thor lying about what the campaign is about, remember, second definition, has caused more damage to it than anything else I'm aware of. Now, I've heard some people say, no, it caused a Streisand effect and led to more coverage. Well, if you look at the signature rate, it suggests the opposite. I've also been told a big streamer, like in that group I mentioned earlier, you know, the kind that are so big they could end this, avoided talking about Stop Killing Games because of Thor's take on it. Remember, at the time he did this, Pirate Software was a well-respected developer looked up to by the internet community for having good takes on gaming. And I was, and still am, the weirdo with no credentials other than not wanting games destroyed. So with Thor being seen as the smartest guy in the room and firmly against the initiative, I think that led some internet figures to not want to touch this, lest they be seen like a fool in the eyes of Thor. Now, as I understand it, that risk may have lowered since then, but it doesn't really matter if nobody else talks about it, because he was there to kill the momentum when we needed it the most, and we never got it back. Okay, that's it on him.
And there you go.
I didn't.
And that's it on him. So now we have, to cap this off, we are going to look at Pirate Software's initial response to the end of Stop Killing Games, this video specifically. I found it on Reddit, and we're going to go ahead and read it. This was archived 2 hours after this video was made. Okay, let's see here. Alright, there we go. So, this is what he posted, again, shortly after he had that little reaction to Cursed Farms video. I put out 2 videos disagreed. It was 10. Disagreeing with your initiative 10 months ago and haven't talked about it since. Now your initiative has failed and you both oh no! Oh no! Holy shit! Oh my god! I'm sorry, but it has in fact not failed. You spoke a little soon there, Thor. Now your initiative has failed and you're blaming me for 33 minutes of the... Was that 30? Yes. Of the hour-long video covering it. The community is out in force, shitting up our streams and socials with hate messages, threats, and side comments. Okay, well, look. Don't be shooting up anybody's streams or socials with hate messages or threats. Snide comments, that's your prerogative. I mean, he can block and ban, but like, there's nothing wrong with snide comments. Like, coming from Pirate Software, the king of snide comments, that's kind of... Anyway, let's continue. Since you're so set in cutting up my responses into pieces to try and make seem unhinged, I'm going to drop my videos here to show the actual context. There's also a massive pinned FAQ on the first video you can read through till you see my reasoning. To quote back to you, if you're going to hate me, at least hate me for what I'm actually saying. I mean, current software must be coping and seething by now. Okay, remember this, what I'm reading is not available anymore on Twitter. He deleted this post. So, the only engagement I've seen that is level-headed, has been from Louis Rossman. His video breaks down what I disliked and tried to meet in the middle with a conversation that made sense. As such, I engaged with him on the video as screenshotted below. Again, that's you engaging with Louis Rossman, not fucking with Upcursive Farms. I'm fine talking to people that are level-headed about this and can have a conversation, but to be real, dude, every time you've been involved, your orbiters turn shit. So, his orbiters, not him, though. So yeah, you don't want to talk to him, even though he's been cordial and respectful because of what his quote-unquote orbiters have done. This seems like coping and seething. P.S. Deleted the reply fast. Did he really? Eva, put on. I did put on background music. Can you hear it? Actually, you know what? I want to change it. Let's change it. Let's change it to... There we go. Okay. I'm fine talking to people that are level-headed about this and can have a conversation with real dude. Every time you've been involved, your orbiters turn shit toxic instantly and it sets me off. Your community is fucking rabid and it's shit to deal with for anyone on the other side of the argument. You're really the only one on the other side of the argument, though. That in, like, industry gaming. Why do you think I haven't talked about this shit in 10 months? Why do you think we auto-mute anyone bringing it up in chat? That's sad. Because it's been rage bait and shit-flinging the entire time. Your own Reddit had people openly talking about custody drama in our community to try and stir up more support. Citation needed, Mr. Jason. I'm gonna need proof for that. I still disagree with your movement for all the reasons. As I stated, that's unlikely to change at this point. I am more than fine with that. Stay frosty. Oh my god, stay frosty. What is this? Okay, so that was his response. He quickly deleted. Jesus Christ. Let's see what this pinned comment says. I'm in the process of initiating to be turned into legislative... Wait a minute, what? I'm aware of the process for an initiative to be turned into legislative much farther down the road after many edits. If people want me to back it, then the technical and monetary hurdles of applying the request need to be included in the conversation, as when this initiative would put a massive undue burden on developers both in AAA and to the semicolon-off live service games. It's entirely too vague. Again, with he's too vague. It's entirely too vague, and what problem is it when opens a conversation that causes more problems instead of fixing the ones that wants to. Dude, that was just word salad. What the fuck are you talking about? If we want to hit the niche and terrible business practice of incorrectly advertising live service games or always online single-player only games, then call that out directly, not just video games as stated in the niche. So, he has actually, he's admitted. I'm sorry, but he has actually admitted that he knows that it's not just about single player, it's not about multiplayer being converted into single player, it's about video games. He understands that. This is what I mean. He's arguing disingenuously. Specifically call it the practice we want to shut down. It's a much more correct conversation to have. Defeats the actual issue and stuff, all the splash damage that I can't agree with. Well, you're the one who's splashing around. Thor, I'm sorry, I have no real, like, yeah, I have no real, sympathy for you, dude. And maybe that's wrong. That's something you guys are gonna have to figure out. Thank you so much for reacting to content with me for the last 2.5 hours. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell as hard as you possibly can, and we will all see you. We will see you actually on the next one. Okay, here we go.
Hey baby, how you doing? You doing good? You know, I'm hanging out with the kids right now. We're having a grand old time. Oh my God.
Michael, you have to take responsibility here. One of your employees had a heart attack. He could have died because of the way you're allowing your office to run. Do you want that on your conscience?
Do you?
Michael?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
What?
Son, listen carefully. I am an officer of the court investigating a felony.
Really? Do I strike you as the type of guy who can be bought with money?
Yes, you do.
Well, you're absolutely right.
Asmongold, don't be a bald loser.
What the fuck?